Before I ask my one question, though, I have to note there's been lots of discussion about the President's budget, and when I enthusiastically see the majority's budget, I know a lot of these issues will be addressed whenever it's available. Whenever it's available. That said, let's focus for a moment on an issue that I am very concerned about, Doctor, and that's the move China is making in the 5G wireless technology, particularly in trying to dominate the global market. How do you think the U.S. stands on 5G, and what do we need to do, not just to compete, but to lead in that area?
Thank you so much, Ranking Member Lucas. That's a very, very important question. And we have entered in the United States, as we know, a hyper-competitive environment with China as a lead in activities related to standardization. We see that in some ways the standardization process has been weaponized, where the free market economy that is represented by the United States, a private sector-led process that's coordinated by our sister organization, the American National Standards Institute, ANSI, which brings together many of the key players in the private sector, are looking now at more effective coordination within the United States, looking to incentivize also the engagement by U.S. industry in the standards process. We know that these are long-term investments that are made by U.S. industry as well as by the federal sector, led by and coordinated by NIST. We know that there are important rules for the standardization process, and we have seen that at times other players have bent or indeed broken the rules of fair play and standards. The United States needs to continue to utilize the standardization process to lead in the future. That includes more effective coordination, the use of tools so that standardization processes can be accelerated, and that greater information sharing amongst the standards players can lead to more effective consensus development around the standards that would benefit the United States and its private sector players, as well as others in the global economy. We want the best technologies in the world to win, and we want the United States to continue to be the leader in not only delivering those technologies, but securing the intellectual properties behind them and translating those into market value. The work that NIST is doing also involves a coordination across the federal interagency. We have been called upon by this committee and by others to continue our work to step forward, to provide greater coordination, greater training, and to work collaboratively across the entire federal interagency to ensure that the United States leads in standards for the future. We've already spoken briefly about artificial intelligence standards and the importance for the future, and NIST has responded to the President's executive order on maintaining American leadership in AI through the standards process. I believe that that's a very powerful document that NIST has developed in collaboration with participants from the private sector and across the federal government, as well as with academia. That same process also focuses on the United States being able to sit at the table in the United States and globally with the global standards development organizations to ensure that U.S. industry, U.S. government, U.S. stakeholders are present at the standards negotiating tables around the world.
Thank you, Dr. Copan. And surprisingly, Madam Chair, I'll yield back a little time.
And now we'll recognize